start, so we invite you to take a seat. We're aware that a few other people are coming as well, so they will be entering through the back this morning. Isn't it great to be out west today? Who's happy to be out west today? As a former Westie, I'm also happy to be home again. I'm an ex-occupational therapist, worked years ago at Auckland Hospital in the acute psych department as a new grad, so I have my experience there way back in the 80s, dare I say it. In the 90s, I also worked at Bethany Centre for young pregnant girls and facilitated the program there, so I'm delighted and very aligned to being here today. I'm also an MC and an event enthusiast. I love charity stuff, so if any of you are supporting other charities, I'm more than happy to come along, and I'm very honoured to support you, Jane, in today, and all the other people involved. I love speaking and coaching. My forte there is with women, and I love to support women through very difficult health, body and life changes. That's where my expertise lies and my passion lies. So again, very delighted to be aligned with such a gorgeous event today, launching Secure Beginnings. My key thing I bring here is not my qualities or my qualifications. My key thing here today and why I'm here is because I'm a mother of 6, a grandmother of 2, and I have a heart for young women. That's why I'm here today. We want to welcome a whole lot of you. There's some very special people in the room. In fact, you're all very special. But there are a few people and groups of people who I'd like to formally acknowledge today and thank for being here. Just a reminder, this is just not an event to be at and cross off in our diaries. Yeah, we're here to celebrate, we're here to be excited, and we're here because each one of us is a change maker. We're not here just to fill up the room. You are here as change makers who are making a difference and who will, after today, make an even bigger difference. I know that and I'm encouraged by that. So I want to welcome the Dayspring Trust and all the lovely people here from Dayspring Trust, the Marinoni Child, Youth and Family Mental Health Services, the steering group and the stakeholder reps, the Waitemata District Health Board, speakers and presenters. We've got 4 or 5 today. They'll be delightful for us. And we have in the political arena Paula Bennett coming, Tau Henare, Steve Tolstrup and Janet Clues. Others are unnamed, but we want to acknowledge every single person in this room for making a difference. It's not just about title and rank. It's about people humbly doing what they can to make a difference. I acknowledge you for that, for being here today. A few housekeeping things. We have toilets down the back here to the right and the left. I feel like an air stewardess. They're down the back. We'd love you to turn your phones off. If anyone's got their phone on, we want to be respectful of today and make this a really good occasion where we can be mindful and present in the moment. Following today, we're hoping to wrap up around the 12:15 mark, all going well. You're invited to share food with us, and we realise that you've taken time out of today to be here, so if you need to rush off, not a problem, but we do invite you to be with us for food if you would like that. Does anyone know Carl Hill Gibran? Anyone heard of him? He wrote The Prophet. I want to just quote something from him, a profound man. You are the bows from which your children as living arrows are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might that his arrow may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness. For even as he loves the arrow that flies, he also loves the bow that is stable. How appropriate for today is that? I want to paraphrase it for us. For even as he loves the child that flies, the baby that flies, he also loves the parent that is stable. I believe that is the essence, from what I've heard, of what Dayspring is all about. A bow is nothing without the arrow. An arrow is little without a bow. And the two of them, I believe, are synergistic. We need both working well together to make it better. We know that when a parent offers a secure base of love, of security, of comfort, of caring for them and enjoying them, helping them along the way, when a parent offers a safe haven, protected, nurtured, cuddled, nourished, that is when that child will thrive. And isn't it so much easier? How many parents here in the room? Isn't it easier when our kids are thriving of how to live a lot better life? And it's great on our society as well. Yeah, this is the synergistic relationship between the bow and the arrow, the child and the parent. So I'm delighted to be here. I believe Secure Beginnings is supporting the parents to be stable and solid so that their babes fly. Secure Beginnings is about honouring and building a secure relationship between the bow and arrow, knowing that that relationship is critical to a child's current and future well-being. I'm delighted to be here at Secure Beginnings. I want to welcome now Timothy George and Pat from the Maori Mental Health Service, please. And in response to that, we have the gorgeous and lovely Bruce McLaren Intermediate School, who are going to give us a kapa haka, and the choir are going to come and sing as well in response. So come on up.
Good morning, everybody. Just having a couple of moments here.
Whakatongi a tō wairi a tapu, hei āwhina, hei tohu i a mātou, i roto i ta mahi, a tū i a makaio. Tutori whiti whakamaua ke a Tīna. Tīna! Hei e hui e! Tai e! Pana mai, ti hei! Mai ora! Hei! Tuake, kauri. Ke te pai, pai te waka mātua whinis. Ke te pai tēnā.
Tui mara, me ia tōki kia koutou, haere mai. Haere mai te minita. Ke kite hoki e koe te mahi, rangatire mahi mia koe. Ngō tātou tongi. E mihi nui hoki tini kia. Ke te koe ngā hua o tō mahi, o tātou tamariki, e mahi kapa. E kore o ti tamato mihi kia koe, o tō mahi rangatire. Kia kaha te au, kia manoa nui. Weno rā koutou rā te whānau, ki mihi atu kia koe. Kia koutou rā, haere mai koutou tini tō tātou hei kukui. Rangatira, i roto hoki tini tō tātou rā, rangatira. Dayspring a koutou rā, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou. Tōku rangatira, a Helen, a koutou rā, o mihi atu kia koutou. A huri noho ki te whare, ka huri au ki te ratu leo. I see Joe giving you a bit of an interpretation. He's told you wrong. Probably telling you a joke. Listen, well, we just want it to be a real big no factor. Consequently, we allowed them to open this part be tough. And you're tough. If there's such a word, I listen to that word, it's tougher up. Koe no rā kami he tō ki te koe to kia tāna tiki mate rā o ngāmi ka kō. Haere hoki atu kia tātou e ora nei, tēnā tātou, tēnā tātou, kia ora nei.
Tiraro, kia wiri, mariri. Tiraro, kia wiri.
Tēnā tātou. Thank you for that. Amazing. Tēnā koutou mātou. Tēnā koutou e kua rei ki uti tātou rau. Ko mi hea tu kia koutou. Me tu koutou me kai whakahaere. Ko mi hea tu kia koe te rangatiro o koe tātou kura. Mi hea tu kia. Tēnā koutou. Tēnā koutou. That's our part finished. Thank you very much.
Ki he! Mōre ora! Ko maha hu ki te raine te awa. Ko wai takere te pai maunga. Ko aretia te awa. Ko wai takere te whenua. Ko hoarawa titi te marae. Ko ngati whatua. Ko kawarawa maki. Ko napui ko kanui te iwi. Ko tuia makaio te wharikura. Kids who may have been at our school and are part of the community, and it may help our kids at some time. My wife is a midwife, and she's very much aware of teenage pregnancies, postnatal depression, all the various things that go with it and cause it and so on. And my school blesses what you're doing, and we support you and wish you the very best with your endeavour. Kia ora.
Choir, all stand please. That's the school we live. Let's show you what the school is to this lovely day. Tiraro, kia wiri.
of Parliament and as your minister. You brought a tear to my eye, so you've just totally ruined that I'm supposed to be tougher up. Because I felt the spirit of every child in your voices. And it reminds us what we're doing here, and it just reminds us what it's all about. And I just think that you have lifted our day, you've just brought a spirit to us that I don't know any of us could copy. And I just thank you so much for coming and sharing your beautiful voices with us. So, excuse me for breaking the protocol. But when I heard they were leaving, I just could have not taken the opportunity to say it's not okay.
Three cheers for our minister. Jihad! Maria! Jihad! Maria! Jihad! Maria!
Wow. I also want to thank you, gorgeous people. Are you coming on? Come on through. Absolutely. I love people who break protocols to groundbreakers, and we need more groundbreakers in this world because they are the people who change the world. Come on up. You gorgeous young people.
This is a really exciting event for us, and I have to say that we've invited you here to celebrate. It's a celebration, and to join us for the launch of our pilot, Secure Beginnings. It's a joint venture between Marimoto and Dayspring Trust. You know that it's the first service of its kind in New Zealand, and I am so excited to be part of this. It has taken almost a year of collaborative planning and preparation to establish the service. So here we are today. Look, I'm just having trouble with the PowerPoint. Sorry. That's better, isn't it? Okay, let's go over. Yes, that's what I wanted you to see. It's time to celebrate. Look at all the balloons. And so, just to tell you a little bit about myself, I too am Westie. I grew up in West Auckland, and I now live in Titirangi with my husband Steve. I have 4 adult children and 5 grandchildren. I love West Auckland. I really do. I'm a Westie and I'm proud of it. And you know, I care about the people who live here. My aspiration is to see a deep and enduring connection established between every child and their parent. So all children are able to grow up receiving and giving love and affection. I want to see all children grow up with a hope in the future. I just want to tell you a little bit about Dayspring's story. Some of you here today may not be familiar with who we are, so I'm going to briefly take you through our journey, a journey of which I have been part of for 20 years. Dayspring began 33 years ago by a group of women here in West Auckland who saw a need in the community that wasn't there yet. They saw that there were women out there who were lonely and isolated, who were sitting in their homes living with postnatal depression or some form of mental illness with their small children and couldn't understand what was wrong with them. And they decided to create a meeting place for them to break the isolation and loneliness. And that's how it started 33 years ago. And from then, things have grown. Since those early beginnings, we have continued working with vulnerable families, and we have an established interest and involvement with mothers and their babies who are living with postnatal depression or an ongoing mental illness. We have seen firsthand the impact their illness has on the mother-baby bonding process and the associated risks of attachment disorder. Dayspring played a leading role by being the only residential service in Auckland for women living with mental illness and their babies. The demand for our service was very high. Working with vulnerable families for over 3 decades highlighted the need for further intensive one-on-one work to address the early experiences of separation and loss. We became aware of the pressing need to formalise the program developments into a comprehensive attachment service. As a result of a grant from the Associate Minister of Social Development, a scoping process was begun to assess the need in the community. The report was completed in May 2007. Sadly, the proposed attachment service was unable to go ahead at the time because no funding had been identified. But, in spite of earlier setbacks and disappointments, Dayspring continued to persevere. Attachment work remained part of our vision and strategic direction. We knew from experience that early intervention attachment work will result in better outcomes for New Zealand's most vulnerable children. Perseverance finally paid off, I have to say. Early in 2012, Dayspring was extremely fortunate to secure seed funding from an anonymous donor. Wasn't that awesome? We just couldn't believe it. It was like our Christmases had come at once. Oh, look, I tell you, the excitement that we felt. And that was, of course, to pilot an early intervention attachment service designed for teenage mothers and mothers with postnatal depression or an existing mental illness. And as I said, it was the breakthrough we were looking for. You know, perseverance had paid off in the end. And of course, our intention was for this newly established attachment service to become an established part of our social service program. So of course, in order to do this, we recognised that we needed to ensure that the precious resource we were entrusted with, that it would be utilised in such a way that this essential work would continue well after the duration of the pilot. So we really needed to rethink the entire process for service delivery, and began by researching other attachment models that had already gained some recognition within New Zealand. During that process, I came in contact with Michelle Ball, just sitting over there, the agent for Circle of Security in New Zealand, and the clinical trainer for child, youth and family mental health services. Having set up a similar service in a previous role, Michelle was able to advise Dayspring on the best way to set up a service with the resources that we were given. Having recognised an opportunity for joint staffing model between Maranoto and Dayspring, she presented the idea to the Dayspring Board of Trustees. With the agreement of Dayspring Board and the sponsorship of Fiona Ironside, the Operations Manager of Child, Youth and Family Mental Health Services, a joint proposal was submitted in late December 2012. Early in 2013, we received the glad news that Helen Wood, General Manager of Mental Health Services, had approved our joint proposal. Thank you, Helen. US expert in attachment therapy, Bert Powell, provided world-class training for our newly appointed staff member, Anne-Marie Hicks, a child psychotherapist, and she joined our staff in March 2013. The joint service model has allowed us to expand the pilot further to 18 months and offer assistance to a greater number of families in our community. Working together in this innovative way will strengthen the future of healthcare and our communities, we believe. Together, I believe that we will be providing a model not only for West Auckland, but for the greater Auckland region and eventually New Zealand. We believe that partnership with government services and the NGO sector is where the opportunities for early intervention and preventative mental health for mothers and their babies lie. Margaret J. Wheatley says this: all change, even very large and powerful change, begins when a few people start talking to one another about something they care about. Those words aptly describe the origins of Secure Beginnings. A group of people got together to talk about something we care about, our children. We know that when we have well mothers, our children will be well. We decided to become part of the solution. None of us can tackle this problem operating on our own. We need to work together in new and innovative ways. In the West, we do this well, and I'm proud of that effort. We Westies, we know what we're doing. Yes. Tell Our vision, Dayspring's vision. Dayspring's vision is to be an organisation that will positively influence the pathways of mothers and their families. That's where we see ourselves. We want to see Secure Beginnings become a regionally recognised model of delivery, which will become the blueprint for our nation. We want to ensure that we have a fully integrated, resourced and professionally staffed maternal mental health program covering the Auckland region. Internet, why is this so important to us? You should wonder why do we want to do this? Well, international research has shown that early intervention attachment work is generally both more effective and more cost effective than any other social service support as the child grows older. Quote. I would like to quote Nelson Mandela. There is no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children. And I'll leave you with this. I'll leave us all with a challenge. And I'm talking about myself as I say this. I mean me and you. Gandhi says, to be the change we want to see in the world. Together, we can be the change that we see in the world. So once again, I'm welcoming you. I'm very proud to be here, and I just want to thank my fellow service providers. You know, we've connected really well, and we've worked together, and we've supported one another. I want to thank the DHBs for their support. And I really want to thank the Honourable Paula Bennett for coming to this event today. I know this is close to your heart. And it was really important for me personally to have you here today. Thank you so much. And thank you, Tove and Ray. You've always been a support to Dayspring. Thank you, Kiwi.
Child learns what he lives. If a child lives with criticism, he learns to condemn. If a child lives with hostility, he learns to fight. If a child lives with ridicule, he learns to be shy. If a child lives with shame, he learns to feel guilt. In contrast, if a child learns with tolerance, he learns to be patient. If a child lives with encouragement, he learns confidence. If a child lives with fairness, he learns justice. If a child lives with security, he learns to have faith. How fabulous is that? And how true do we know that in essence, what you're about? I want to welcome up Michelle Ball and acknowledge you for Speaking Today, project leader and clinical trainer of childhood and family mental health. And I also want to acknowledge Janelle, who is going to be part of the video. Great namesake, Janelle. Yay. I said to Janelle before we came here on arrival that she is, for me, the reason I'm here today. Janelle is the first person through the program. You'll hear more about that, and I just so honour you, because in my work as a life coach and the other work that I do with women, I know that when you make a difference and take that step to do what you've done, being the first person through, you're a pioneer. You're a change maker. And I want to acknowledge you personally from my deepest motherly heart. That's why I'm here to acknowledge you. And I know that when you make that change, baby's going to have such a positive thrive. That it works the other way as well. When we as women or as people make change, it can actually heal the generation before us. Okay, it's not just about breaking the cycle this way, it's about breaking the cycle that way as well. So welcome, Michelle. Thank you.
Really an honour to be here today, to be part of this launch, and thank you all for coming. So just to give you a little bit of background about me, I guess the last 25 years I've been working in child and adolescent mental health. My background's in social work and child psychotherapy. The last 10 years I've focused primarily on working with parents to help support them develop the social and emotional well-being of their infants. And it has been part of that work where I came across the program that I'm going to be talking to you about today. So I've been asked to give you some understanding of what Secure Beginnings is this morning. In order to do that, I realised I had to summarise about 50 years of research and put it in a very simple context so that you could take something away from what this program is about. So I've got 10 minutes to do that, so I'll get started. I wanted to start with a question for you all. What is it like when you feel secure? Can you think of a couple of words to describe that feeling? Loved, safe, brave, confident, calm, joyful, connected. These are all the feelings that we would have when we felt secure. So how do you behave when you feel that secure? Again, think of 2 words about how you might behave. Curious, cooperative, caring, knowing you can ask for help and receive it. A couple of weeks ago I was speaking with Jude Cassidy, who is an international researcher and author in the field of attachment. And we were talking about this presentation actually. And she told me about one of the trials that she has been doing in her lab in America. And she runs these trials with children aged 3 to 12 years of age. And when the children come in, they first test and code their attachment style as either secure or insecure. And then they ask them a story and ask them what happened next. And this was the example that she gave me, and this is a group of 6-year-old children. This is the story. You're standing waiting in line at a bus stop, and you're wearing your brand new white sneakers for the first time. You get shoved from behind, and you step in a muddy puddle. Your sneakers get covered in mud. The children were then asked a series of questions. What do you think happened? What did you say? What did they say? What did you do? What did they do? These are their answers. Without exception, securely attached children will say similar things. They say things like, it was an accident. They didn't mean for it to happen. It doesn't matter. My mum will help me clean them later. Could you please be more careful next time? They would feel bad and say sorry. And they would feel bad that this happened to me. They would try and help me. When the same questions are asked of insecurely attached children, they, without exception, say the same things. They did it on purpose. They didn't like me. They just were picking a fight. I shouted at them. I got upset. I'm going to get in trouble when I get home. They don't like me. They don't feel bad. They're laughing at me. They don't care. 50 years of research in the field of attachment have been saying the same things. That children that are securely attached enjoy more happiness, feel less anger, get along better, are better able to problem solve, have better relationships, have higher self-esteem. Basically what this is telling us is that the social and emotional health cannot be separated from the context of relationship. Imagine if you found a way to help parents to understand how they could foster the sense of security in their children. Imagine what might be different for those children that were insecurely attached.
As parents, we've all asked these kinds of questions. How can I stop my child behaving like this? What do I do to manage her behaviour? Is there something wrong with him? Why would she behave like this just to get attention? But what if the problem lies in the question? If instead we ask, how can I improve my relationship with my child? And what is her behaviour telling me? We start to see that the need for attention is actually a need for connection. A child's behaviour is in fact a form of communication, and it is driven by this need for an emotional connection. Children need emotional connection with their parent as a secure base to go and explore the world, and they need us to be a safe haven to come back to when things get too difficult. It's possible to control your child's behaviour with strategies, rules and rewards, but marbles, sweeties and the naughty step lose their effectiveness eventually. The thing that really changes them is your presence and unconditional love. The bottom line is they are more likely to behave well when they are feeling secure in their emotional connectedness and safe in our love. Love isn't just a warm, fluffy feeling, and it doesn't mean continually giving in to them. Far from it. Love is taking the time to understand your child's emotional world and respond to it, helping them make sense of their mess and confusion. We know this isn't straightforward. That's why at the Centre, we try and support parents in this way of relating to their children, from babbling babies to terrible teenagers and beyond. In fact, we're seeing remarkable effects when this way of thinking has applied to the marriage relationship as well. Whatever the question, learning to be connected is a big part of the answer.
So in my attempt to find different ways of working with the parents that I was working with, I came across this model of intervention called the Circle of Security. And what I was really interested about, in particular about this model, is that it was developed by 4 clinicians who were all struggling with the same question. How can I help parents to better understand the importance of the relationship with their child? So there's key aspects to the development of this program. In order to teach parents to understand about the relationship with their children and what's getting in the way of developing a secure relationship, as I said, they broke down almost 50 years of research and developed some very simple graphics and trigger points to help parents make sense of this. What we know is that lasting change results from parents developing those enhanced relationship capacities rather than learning techniques about managing behaviour. To put that in a New Zealand context, I like to use this image of the kitty when thinking about parenting. In order to be able to carry anything, the strands of the kitty must be woven together securely. The kitty is like the relationship. If the kitty or relationship is secure, then it can carry the tools that parents need in order to parent. Tools like sleep routines, consequences, and take charge behaviour. If there are holes in the kitty, or if it's not been woven together in a secure way, then the tools, or at least some of them, will eventually fall out. If the kitty or relationship is put under additional strain, like families from time to time as a result of sickness, accident, economic conditions, this is when it's particularly important for the strands of the relationship to be woven securely together. It is by having a secure relationship that families build resilience to get through the tough times. The Circle of Security focuses on weaving the strands of the relationship more tightly together, and it can then provide a platform for the additional tools to be added, like the stones in this kitty, and to remain in place. So why Circle of Security? Since 2009, Circle of Security have been offering training in New Zealand. To date, there is no other program being offered that is similar to that of Secure Beginnings, which is the intensive therapeutic model. Circle of Security have developed 2 models of intervention. One is the intensive therapeutic model, which is 14 to 20 weeks, and the manualised parent education model, which is 8 weeks. Both are time-limited approaches that have been shown internationally to make positive shifts in the attachment style of parents. There's also been a number of workshops held in New Zealand to support early childcare workers to have better understanding of how they can support the attachment relationship in daycare settings for children. In New Zealand, there's about 38 people who've been trained in the intensive therapeutic model, over 120 in the Circle of Security parenting education model, and over 200 have attended the introductory trainings. Circle of Security trainings help increase clinical capacity across the staff working within perinatal and infant mental health services. The intensive therapeutic model, like the one we're using, as well as creating lasting positive changes in parents, it's particularly shown these changes for vulnerable parents. And as we know, changing the outcomes in parenting will help show changes in the trajectory outcomes for those children. So what is it exactly? Let's first consider the role of the parent. The program goes into more detail detail on each aspect of this, but these are the essential keywords. A parent must always be bigger, stronger, wiser and kind. Whenever possible, follow the child's need, and whenever necessary, take charge. This is really important as we continue, because without a parent, there is no relationship. What does the circle of security graphic looks like? So the circle of security, as I said, broke down the aspects of attachment theory, and for those of you who've ever studied attachment theory, it doesn't make a lot of sense. What's different is that they were able to graphically demonstrate what an attachment relationship looks like. So this is a graphic for the secure relationship. It summarises the secure attachment system, your caregiving system. As the child moves out on the top of the circle, they're moving into exploration and play, into learning. And then as they come back on the bottom of the circle, they're needing support in order to make sense of what they've been learning and thinking about. This rhythm of coming and going is seen in all cultures and all children, and it was biologically engineered to ensure the survival of the species. There's a number of reasons why parents struggle to first see and then appropriately respond to their child's emotional needs. And we won't have time to discuss this, but the research is very simple. 10% of secure children, of secure children, only 10% will go on to experience conduct disorder difficulties, mental health problems, or commit violent acts. If we look at the insecure attachment relationship, you'll see from this graphic a very different picture. The hands on the circle are there, but what you'll notice is that the child is not supported to go into exploration. And there's a number of reasons why this happens, and with each person that's very different. But effectively, this is describing what we know of as an anxious ambivalent attachment style, where the child wants to go and explore, but cannot. Another form of insecure relationship is this. And again, as you can see, the parent is supporting the child to go out and play, but then discouraging them from coming back and experiencing with them what it means about what they're doing and making sense of their world. Again, if we look at the research, approximately 30% of children with a diagnosed insecure attachment style will go on to have problems at school, have conduct disorder, develop mental health conditions, and potentially participate in a criminal offence resulting in imprisonment. The latest World Health Organization report commented on the significant rise in the treatment for depression and calculated that by 2030, severe depression would be the leading cause of health problems. What's significant about that statement is that in this insecure relationship, the child has no one to come back to and make sense of their world. That leaves them feeling isolated and alone. And this is the cause for a lot of major mental health problems. The final graphic is what's known as disorganised attachment. As you can see, there is no hands on the circle. There is no parent to support this child. In this system, the parent is both the source of the child's fear and the haven for their safety. As a result, these children develop strategies out of desperation in order to resolve this dilemma. Again, if we consider the research, the strongest predictor of psychopathology in adolescence was disorganised attachment measured at 12 to 18 months of age. These children have significantly increased problems with aggression, poor academic performance, and in another study, 80% of the prison population were shown to have disorganised attachment. As well as the graphic, the circle of security teach parents to think about what they're seeing and why they're struggling. And that's a fundamental difference to this program. In order for a mother, or as the statement says, among biologically intact mother-infant dyads, the strongest predictor of secure or insecure infant attachment is found in the caregiver's state of mind. So what does that mean? The Circle of Security uses user-friendly language to help explain this, like a term that we'll hear in a minute, called shark music, as it describes the internal state of mind as a parent. It provides the map in order for the parent to observe the child and trigger points to help guide them to a new way of responding. Developing capacity to see what your child needs from you and reflect on what is also happening for you at that point in time. Separate that from what your child's needs are and respond. That's the trick. So effectively, the parent thinks, so what happened to me when I expressed my emotional needs as a child and they weren't met is not happening for my child right now, and I can do something differently about that. So that's a very brief summary. But we thought it was fitting that we heard from one of our mums who started the program. And I'd like to introduce you to Janelle and her daughter Riley. And Janelle has very generously offered, courageously I was going to say as well, offered to be interviewed. And this is a snippet from our interview talking about her experience of being in the Secure Beginnings program. Janelle is almost ready to graduate, so she hadn't even quite finished when we asked her to do this, so that was even more generous. So thank you, Janelle. Oh, didn't work.
What first interested you about the Secure Beginnings program? What had you done? Had you tried any other programs before?
One thing that I'm taking again and reminder to me and my own children is this, that our presence is our present with our kids. Our time, our love, it's not about all the busyness of this world, it's about our time and our presence, our being with our children, communicating and listening. You know, as mothers, we're too often talking to our kids and going blah, 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 but we're not doing a lot of the listening through our ears and listening through our hearts. So I want to acknowledge too Anne-Marie and your support of, in a psychotherapy aspect, your support of Janelle and Riley. I want us to stand and actually acknowledge, as well as get a wiggle on our butts at the back, to actually acknowledge you in being the first participant through the program and making such a huge difference to your daughter. Come on, get up and stand and acknowledge you. Love you, girl. Love you, girl. And for me, I love symbols. So the sunflower to me is the symbol for you, Janelle. And this symbol is something that I bought for you yesterday, knowing that you were coming today. And this is a reminder for you to stand tall, to stand proud, and be the most confident woman you can be for your daughter. Yeah, we love you. Yeah. Once again, okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We're just aware of time, Paula, and we thank you for your time today. And we are running a little late, but welcome you to our presence today. Jane and her little talk was talking about Nelson Mandela, and I have one other quote that I'd like to introduce you to as an audience, but also for Paula. And I don't know if you know, but Nelson Mandela, his mother, I can't pronounce her name, when he was 5, sent him along to this particular Methodist school. She was quite religious in the Methodist religion, and it was there that he actually got his name Nelson. He had some other long fancy letter word for a name, but his original name meant troublemaker, which I didn't know, and I found quite interesting because I love Nelson Mandela, and I think sometimes the troublemakers of the world and the groundbreakers are the people that are making change in the world. So I love that. His quote here that I've taken in preparation for you, Paula, is that safety and security don't just happen. They are the result of a collective consensus and public investment. We owe the children, the most vulnerable citizens in our society, a life free of violence and fear. I know that you'll be saying hear, hear to that, yeah? We welcome you to come and address us this morning, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for welcoming us here today, and I can't help but reflect on those beautiful children again. Yeah, they kind of lifted the whole day and reminded us, I think, of what we're here for. So To and I are here just to recognise what you're doing and to help launch. So it's an honour for us to be part of it. I'm not going to stand up here and give you my, my interpretation of the therapeutic model and try and convince you that I understand it and that I know it. I'm fortunate enough to have Professor Gluckman as someone who is a close confidant and someone who takes it quite personally that I should be well informed and understand that attachment and how important it is in that first year. How important it is that those little neurons are well wired so that we can be. And I often think it's unfortunate sometimes that I know too much without being the expert, because I literally go into early childcare centres or meet teen mums and their children and think, oh, that one's wired well, oh, that one's got good attachment, oh, that one needs a bit more. And you start seeing it. But I was thinking that you get to a point where you can't help but reflect on yourself because it's all personal. You reflect on your own parenting style, how you were raised and how that happens. And so in my 3 minutes, I thought I'd bring it back and make it personal, really. So yesterday I had the absolute great fortune of spending some time at a teen parent education centre in Tawa in Wellington. And it's the one that Susan Garawana started 20 years ago, so it was the first teen parent education centre. And many of you will know that it's the work that's perhaps closest to my heart. I just love these girls, and I think if we look after them better, then we give them the right tools, which is why I'm so excited about Secure Beginnings. Then we can give them the tools and the dads so that they can then look after their children better. And that in many of my respects is the role that I see myself taking a leadership in. Yeah? So I went along yesterday and there they were, and I'd been invited by one of the students, and she was 16 and had a 1-year-old, and she had personally written to me and said, would I come out and see them? So that was an absolute honour, and here she was, just this, she was just awesome. And so she showed me right round, and showed me around the early childcare centre and told me some of her own story. And then I got to spend some time with the girls, and we sort of talked about, there was this one moment, so they were sort of sitting there and they'd gone around and explained their own circumstances and how they got to be in education. And for all the negative media that you will see, most of what they wanted to tell me was that they felt the new young parent payment was working. That actually for more than half of them, that was the reason they had re-engaged into education, was because I made them. But as a consequence of that, all this other, of course, support was being wrapped around them. And so they'd sort of been talking for about 15, 20 minutes, and then I said, well, when I was 17 and I had my baby, and this one goes, were you a teen mum? Yeah, so, and I went, oh yeah. And she goes, oh, you'll know what we're talking about. I didn't know you were a teen mum. And I said, oh, honey, I'm the queen of teen mums. Many of us have gone before, and there are positive, stories that we can tell as to where you can end up and what you can do. And it gets really interesting. I think if I reflect back on 26 years ago, and when I had my daughter in 1987, and things were very different then, very different. And we forget just how different they were. For example, when I went for my first scan at 8 months, they would not let me see the scan because I was a single parent, and there was still a chance that I might adopt her, even though adoption was not on the radar for me at all. So I literally was not allowed to see the screen of my baby in my tummy, and that was just that's 1987. When I was in the home with her, and when I'd had her, they literally kept asking me where her father was and when he would turn up and what I would do, and that was repeatedly for the days that I was there afterwards. And actually having to relive that lonely, isolated feeling of I'm in this on my own, and having to repeatedly tell that was actually incredibly, really depressing, to be honest. It was a stark reminder daily and many times. And so I take great heart in where we are now. But when I look at this well-adjusted, fully qualified social worker who's a mum herself and has now blessed me with grandchildren, there's been many times when I thought, wow, how did I get that right, you know? Because if I'm to be really blunt with you, there were plenty of mistakes I made and plenty of things that I did very wrong. Yeah, so not just I raised my voice a little too much that day. At the end of the day, I was very young. But that first year, I lived in a very secure home where I was well supported and cared for. And that first year, we got right. So many times in year 2, 3, 4, that we didn't get right, because that's when it all went topsy-turvy for me and I lost my way and suffered all sorts of clinical things, we would call them now. And so but I got that first year right because of the support that I was in, because of how it had been wrapped around me. So when I look at what you're doing with Secure Beginnings, I am completely on board. Come and see me in a year's time, you know. This is what it's all about. It is about one-on-one. It's about it being individualised to that mother and their child. It is recognising what we can do. It is putting a therapeutic evidence base around that. It is one at a time. I just can't give you enough of my support. I acknowledge all of you for how you've got this started, for your investment in it, for, as I say, the planning of that program and how it happens. I leave you on a slightly lighter note. So I'm often asked for parenting advice, yeah? Just because, and I think, you know, yeah, okay. So my colleague, Simon Bridges, his wife's now pregnant with his second child, and Emlyn must be about 18 months, 2 years old. Gorgeous wee boy, and he was just about to be born, because I have this thing where I say in Parliament that actually I quite like these differences between men and women. And so I tease the boys all the time and I say, look, I'm going to ask you about your children and be genuinely interested in your response, and you can buy me lunch and lift my heavy bags. So we were there, and I must have said that to you many times, and Simon said, so we're about to have this baby, everyone's full of advice, what's yours? And I said, well, it's all about attachment. So you cannot hold a baby too much. You cannot look into its eyes enough and make that kind of attachment. So it is eye contact, it is touch. And in the first year, it is, you know, from everything I've seen, me basing, I'm a politician, remember, so getting it really simple, I just say, you cannot overlove a baby. You cannot pick them up, look them in the eye, make physical contact. So that I thought was sound advice. We all, look, the experts are nodding. Except for when his wife rang me like 2 months after the baby was born and said, he is freaking him out. His stare is so intense that I think the baby's going to think his father is weird. So I thought, then, yeah, be careful with your advice, because some will take it so literally. That's where it ended up. So look, congratulations. I am really supportive. I'm really excited. I know that you're all the experts in this area. I know you know the work that we're doing with vulnerable children. I know you know the emphasis that we put on these gorgeous teen mums and dads. There is so much more to do, and to see this kind of intensive therapy, as I say, that's individualised, just completely gladdens my heart. I'm on board. I'll use every bit of influence I can to encourage you to see. I'm delighted it's in the West. Congratulations. Very much, of course, for celebration. Yeah? So celebrate this day, because the young mums and dads of West Auckland, and most importantly their children, are better off because of the work that you do. And I acknowledge that. So thank you. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. Through our personal stories, I believe that we can share some of our most profound insights. So thank you for being personal and honest about your own path through motherhood, and some of those other stories in there, yeah? Children are great imitators, so give them something worth imitating. Yeah, I like it. We're just going to welcome up Helen very briefly at the end of our day today. Helen is the General Manager for Mental Health Services for Auckland and Wairabela DHB. Come on, Helen.
I will go briefly, and kia ora, welcome and thank you Pat, and to everyone for such a fantastic celebration today, and particularly those gorgeous young people who gave, and like you, Paula, I mean, that was one of the most amazing experiences that I've had in a very long time. I'm Helen. Just to start off with, I am going to be quite brief. I've worked in mental health services or contributed to them now for about 34 years, and things like today are some of the most inspiring moments of being able to contribute to people's lives. We know mental illness, mental ill health and or addiction issues can have absolutely devastating impacts on people's lives and their families and friends no matter what age. We also know that, for example, in our services that I have the privilege to oversee in Auckland and Waitemata, we see around 45,000 people a year, and that's just the tip. You could triple and quadruple that to even start to make a difference. And programs like this, and certainly in my work with helping develop Blueprint 2, one of the absolute focus areas was having a healthy start in life. And this program is a real shining light of what we were trying to describe in Blueprint 2 and how we transform people's lives in Aotearoa. And it's a privilege to be here to be opening that, and it's fantastic to have people like you, Michelle, working with us. And when Fiona came to me and said, "What do you think of this?" I don't think I hesitated at all, because I just knew it was absolutely the right thing to do. We didn't have flash new money, we just got on and did it. And have no problem in promoting it across the whole of Auckland. At the moment, until the end of December, I cover 2. But this afternoon, I'm working with my colleagues in counties and in women's health to also get the next stage and better in place, and that's when mums and infants need a higher level of support. So we're getting on with the acute end in terms of much better community at-home support, and with our partners and NGOs, some of the respite. So you're a really critical part of that whole continuum. So I just want to say fantastic, well done to everyone that's made this happen, and well done to you, Janelle. It's inspiring to see you here, and thanks for your support, Paula. This is how we make a difference to our friends, family, young people in our future. So well done, and I have no problem growing it. So thank you, and particularly thank you, Jane, and thank you, Michelle. Okay. Enjoy. So this is our symbol of the security circle, the circle of security, but also, I believe, the circle of influence. So again, as I reminded you at the start when you came here, that you came here for a reason, and you came here as a change maker and a person of influence in some way to this program, Secure Beginnings. So fabulous about that. You can't cross the ocean by merely staring at the water. So we thank all the people who have been part of today, already mentioned as speakers and as an input into the organisation. But we also want to thank the volunteers today. We have Raltesh of Real Time Productions over there on the camera. We had Madeline Ireland, the photographer, and we had Sam Humby, the technical director, and the sound man back here in his lovely green chair. We also want to acknowledge the trust funding partners, and I'm going to read through those and trust that we've got you all. Waitemata District Health Board, Ministry of Social Development, COGS, Lottery Community, ASB Community Trust, Lion Foundation, the Trust Community Foundation, Auckland City Council Faux Local Fund, Auckland City Council Community Wellbeing Fund, Sky City Community Trust, KPMG, Baruch Te Wael, I hope I pronounced his name well, and to the anonymous donors. What an amazing thing, that anonymous person, the donor who seeded in this. How amazing. So we acknowledge them. A round of applause for all of these people who have been part today. We acknowledge also Anne-Marie and Janelle who come forward. You are the ones cutting the cake. Are we here somewhere? Oh, fantastic. They're all queued in. Come on over. And we would love you to be seen on, however. So we welcome you to cut the cake for us. Something to drink. Again, thank you for being here. There was a
little boy who was a young primary school kid, and he went off to school one day and he had a test at school. And he came home, he sat on his father's lap, and the father said to him, "Hey son, did you get some good feedback today from your test?" And the son said to him, "Dad, it's not about feedback, it's about feed forward." Yeah? I want you to take away something for today. Don't just have this as an event that you can tick off your list. Feed forward something of today. Yeah? You may be a potential donor. Donate. If you know of someone with some dosh, get them to donate. If you want to stop some violence and neglect abuse, start speaking up, getting clear about that. If you are a referral source, get referring. Yeah? If you are a concerned parent, whatever, get feeding forward, okay? You promise me that? Yeah. Fantastic. We just want to bless the food today. We thank you for that. We thank you that we have an abundance of food. And we thank you for the community that we've been involved in today, and the joy and delight of seeing Janelle being the first woman through this beautiful program, and we see it continuing on in great prosperity. Thank you for being here.
Like Dayspring doesn't have the rooms with the video, so we provide that. Hello, Michelle. I know, it's your profile. I've got good. Need to speak to her. Isn't that great? Yeah, came back as the ops manager for the child care. Best job ever. So good. So lucky. So Stephanie is the ops manager for child, women and family, so physical health. Yeah. Which is great. Move aside so I can which part does the Oh, so she's the GM for child, women and family. And Helen's the GM for mental health. Yeah, whatever. I just noticed I had the colour on and I did the thing myself. Oh, is that a whole sandwich? Massive. Thank you. Went up, came back to me to do some and I believe it's been pop up for the first consultant program down in Wellington. It looks like they're really going to pick it up. There's nobody else has done it. So I had the colour on and I did the thing myself. Oh, is that a whole sandwich? Massive. Thank you. Went up, came back to me to do some and I believe it's been pop up for the first consultant program down in Wellington. It looks like they're really going to pick it up. There's nobody else has done it. So I had the colour on and I did the thing myself. Oh, is that a whole sandwich? Massive. Thank you. Went up, came back to me to do some and I believe it's been pop up for the first consultant program down in Wellington. It looks like they're really going to pick it up. There's nobody else has done it. So I had the colour on and I did the thing myself. Oh, is that a whole sandwich? Massive. Thank you. Went up, came back to me to do some and I believe it's been pop up for the first consultant program down in Wellington. It looks like they're really going to work it up. There's nobody else has done it. So I had the colour on and I did the thing myself. Oh, is that a whole sandwich? Massive. Thank you. Went up, came back to me to do some and I believe it's been pop up for the first consultant program down in Wellington. It looks like they're really going to work it up. There's nobody else has done it. So I had the colour on and I did the thing myself. Oh, is that a whole sandwich? Massive. Thank you. Went up, came back to me to do some and I believe it's been put up to the person that's holding the program down in Wellington. It looks like they're really going to work it up, because nobody else has done it. So I had the colour on and I did the thing myself. Oh, is that a whole sandwich? Massive. Thank you. Went up, came back to me to do some more extra work on it. And I believe it's been put up to the person that's holding the program down in Wellington. It looks like they're really going to work it up, because nobody else has done it. So I had the colour on and I did the thing myself. Oh, is that a whole sandwich? Massive. Thank you. Went up, came back to me to do some more extra work on it. And I believe it's been put up to the person that's holding the program down in Wellington. It looks like they're really going to work it up, because nobody else has done it. So I had the colour on and I did the thing myself. Oh, is that a whole sandwich? Massive. Thank you. Went up, came back to me to do some more extra work on it. And I believe it's been put up to the person that's holding the program down in Wellington. It looks like they're really going to work it up, because nobody else has done it. So I had the colour on and I did the thing myself. Oh, is that a whole sandwich? Massive. Thank you. Went up, came back to me to do some more extra work on it. And I believe it's been put up to the person that's holding the program down in Wellington. It looks like they're really going to work it up, because nobody else has done it. So I had the colour on and I did the thing myself. Oh, is that a whole sandwich? Massive. Thank you. Went up, came back to me to do some more extra work on it. And I believe it's been put up to the person that's holding the program down.